Welcome to our first episode.
Yay! So excited.
Oh, I'm so excited to get to this point. This has been a long time coming. I'm Sarah. I'm a recovered career coach, tech girly, and a used book hoarder.
Hi, everyone. I'm Noelle. I am a recovering overachiever. I'm your inclusive work aficionado, and I'm here to remind you that burnout is not a personality.
We- Okay, so I have a quick meet cute about how I knew that Noelle and I were going to be real good co-hosts.
Okay.
So, Noelle, do you actually remember the first thing that you and I co-hosted together?
No, what was the first thing that we co-hosted together?
Well, I can actually tell you the date that
Oh my
you and I
gosh.
co-hosted
Okay.
something. It's actually quite a famous date in American history.
Okay.
I'll give you a hint. It was on January 6th, 2021.
Right.
You and I were actually co-hosting a career development seminar called like a lunch and learn type situation at a school that we were both working at as career coaches. And we were getting like text alerts like during this pre-scheduled seminar, and it was like New York Times alerts like the Capitol is under siege. And it was like, that doesn't sound good. But we were like, this is how not to write things on your resume. And you and I just kept going, and we were like co-hosting this.
And like my family lives in DC, so I'm sending them messages. Just want to make sure every good because it sounds like things are not good.
Yeah,
You in the
yeah.
office?
But
Oh my god.
so we were really pushing through this, and we were like committed, and it was like the Capitol may fall, but our students will be submitting these recruiter ready resumes. We are committed. And I just remembered by the end of that lunchtime thing being like, is anybody else getting these alerts? And you're like, yeah, my family's from DC. I'm very concerned. And I was like, but I think that webinar went real good.
I mean, they were attentive. The engagement was good.
But at the end of that, I was like, Noelle's the kind of co-host of career-related discussions I want to be with because she's going to stick it through. But that was the first time you and I co-hosted something, career-related or otherwise. It was January 6th, so that stuck with me. I thought that was a really good meet cute.
I love that. I feel like I blacked out so much during that day. If I did anything, if I was on stage, I would have forgotten. So I appreciate the reminder.
But yeah, we trauma bonded, and we're still friends to this day. So but yeah, it worked out really well. Noelle's such good people. I'm so glad that I know you, and even though you don't live in the same city anymore, I'm so glad we're still close. And
I'm so glad. This has been one of the best gifts, is just getting to know you and getting to know your family. It's just a joy. So I love this.
I wasn't prepared for all that, but okay.
Well, you were saying nice stuff, so I'm gonna give it.
Well,
it's a give and take.
I guess we've talked about a lot recently that kind of brought us back to the podcast was this rekindled love we both have for reading lately. So we really merged our paths over career coaching. So my background was in career coaching and as was yours. And then, our own careers have kind of forked a bit and we have our own specialties, but we've come back a lot over talking about books and what I think is the most hilarious text chat over book and book commentary. And I think we're hilarious. And so I one day was like, let's hit record. And here we are.
Yes. And it needed to happen because the texts were incredible. I was just hate reading a book and letting you know everything that was going, like, I'm excited when we get to talk about this book, but it reminded me of how much I loved to read when I was younger. But when I was little, I mean, fifth grade, sixth grade, I was hammering through Stephen King and James Patterson like I'm a 45-year-old white man, right? And I just wanted to get back to that same love, but maybe a different genre. And that's what we did. And when I got to share that with you, and I knew that you were such a big reader, it's like about being able to like get community in talking about these books, which is so cool.
Absolutely. And I think now, fast forward to 2025, there's also, BookTok and the communities there. And what I love about reading a really popular book is hopping over to BookTok and seeing the memes and seeing the continued discussion there and laying awake at night at 1 a.m. and cracking up over, what the additional commentary that comes from that and, or just, the hot takes on there. And I really want to bring that to this podcast as well. And I do that with you in our chat as well. So I think that's something that our listeners can expect from our upcoming episodes, which I don't know, I think they might come out weekly-ish, but they can also expect a lot of career convos. Like I said, we're kind of career coaches. In our opening, I said I'm a recovering career coach. I no longer do that for a living, but that is what my background is in. So we definitely have pretty deep discussions about career advice and corporate BS. And Noelle, you're still pretty tied to that world as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think that we have a lot of connections when it comes to just sitting in the HR space. Like, even if it wasn't our direct role, we know so much about it and we have our eyes on what's going on in the recruiting world. So we'll definitely be sharing things, but I don't need like 10 tips on how to write a resume or any of that stuff. We're not interested in having that part of the conversation, but having real talk about your career and also being able to talk about our love of books. I think that there's an opportunity to bring those two things together because we're just career girls who also love to read, and we wanted to present that to you all.
I love it. So join us next week. We're talking about the book series. You know the one we're talking about. Everyone's on BookTok, talks about it. Big feelings, big thoughts. We have big thoughts too. It's a big acronym.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about it and talking about fiery pits of hell. We're also going to be talking about the current job market.
Yes.
So please join us next week. But as we get started on this journey, we also want you to join us on TikTok. We're also going to be on Blue Sky, and you can also interact with us over there as well. Noelle is over there on our socials doing her thing. She is hilarious. Also follow her on her socials as well. So yeah, reach out to us over on our website as well. We're going to be prompting and asking for a lot of listener takeaways and feedback. So we want to feature you on this podcast a lot.
Yay. Excited to get started, y'all. We have so much to share.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining us on our first episode. We will see you next week. Bye.